Hi, I'm Wade from Thoroughbred Diesel, and today we're going to be working on a 1997 Ford Powerstroke OBS truck, and we're going to be installing a Revolver and an Edge Insight. Today we're working on a 1997 Ford F350 OBS Powerstroke. Shout out to the Rutledge brothers. They're gonna probably enjoy this video. They're the OBS kings. But Edge has entered the switchable chip market with the introduction of the Revolver. The Revolver is, again, switchable chip, works on 95 to 2003 7.3 liter Powerstrokes. The neat thing about the Revolver is Edge has made this performance chip where it is able to be integrated with their Insight monitoring system. You can also control the chip with the addition of their EAS switch kit, which is part number 98621. Now, the reason why I wanted to explain that to you is if you have bought these things singly, I don't know if that's a word. If you have bought just a chip, you bought the Revolver and you didn't have the Insight, then you got the chip and you decided, hey, I want to be able to monitor some of the parameters inside of my truck, some of the things that are going on with the motor, you add the Insight to it. So that's what this video is going to do today. That's going to tie all this in together. Now, we offer this in a bundle. Edge offers this in a complete package that comes with the chip, the monitor, and the switch. You don't have to worry about it, but we're going to show you how to do it if you buy it in an individual direction, or you could have the Insight and want to add the Revolver to it, whatever. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do this. More different ways than I can count because my math is basic. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be installing the Insight first, then we're going to install the Revolver and show you how to tie it in and control it with your Insight. All right, so first off, we're going to be installing our Insight. Word about the Insight: as soon as you get this, the best thing to do is take it in and hook it up on your desktop or laptop computer. And you want to go ahead and update the Insight. There are instructions in this box on how to do that. Go to edgeproducts.com. You can download the software for it, and that would be able. And then you can update. A lot of people say, why would I update when I get this product? Shouldn't it be updated already? Well, yes, it probably will be. But there's a possibility that between the time that we get this product or you get this product, they may have come out with a brand new update for it, which will be able to be downloaded on their website. So totally free, doesn't cost you, the customer, anything, but definitely a good thing to do. Make sure that your Insight is updated for you install it. So inside your Insight box, we've done lots of Insight installation videos, so I'm just going to breeze through this. You get your instruction packet right here, then you get your monitor is already on top, first thing. Then underneath the box here, this is your mount, so we're going to need that right out of the gate. Here's my mount and my little alcohol prep pad. And then we are going to, I've already updated this. All we're going to need is the OBD II cord from this. You also, which I'm going to use and quit using my own zip ties, is you're going to need this little handy pack of zip ties here for zip tying up all of your cables. So we're going to move Adam around where he can see me do this install, and then we're going to go ahead and install our Insight. That's good. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to install our OBD II cable. Now on the OBS Fords, the OBD II port is all the way just about to the passenger side of the truck. You can see right here. Here's where we're going with the OBD II portion of the cable. This is the section where our EAS accessories are going to plug in. All of it's going to come from this. So my switch, my lead in for my daisy chain of whatever that I'm going to use, be it the switch for the Revolver, EGT probe, or whatever it is, it all comes to here and it starts back to here. So we want to make sure that we leave this accessible. So first thing I did was, and I already know it, but I laid my OBD II cord down here and I checked my length on it to make sure that was going to be able to get me back to my monitor, which it is. And now we're going to fish the wire up through the dash. On the OBS's, there's a little gap right here. I always work inside that gap and try to fish everything as close to the top as I can, just to make it a cleaner look here. And when you go to do that, you want to use the HDMI end of that cable because it's flat enough to be able to go. So now you get under here and you fish your cord through, and It's hot and you want to curse, but don't do that. And these trucks are old. The plastic is brittle in them, so be careful with what you're doing if you're working on this year truck. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep working to fish that cord through this gap, and then we'll bring it right here. This was the gap I was talking about here. So we're just fishing HDMI cables through. Look at there. 6 seconds into the video, I'm already bleeding. All right, there's our HDMI cord up and in position, and now we're ready to mount our windshield mount. Inside of your inside kit, you get a little alcohol prep pad. The alcohol prep pad is used to clean your windshield up. I suggest doing this because if you don't, the pedestal won't stick to the window, and then your inside will fall down, and then when your inside falls down, you're going to want to fuss and get mad about that, and so on and so forth, when it's really not the inside's fault. It's your fault for not cleaning the windshield. So my suggestion is to clean the windshield real good, and then let this is an alcohol prep pad, so once you're done with this, let that dry. Putting your window mount on, obviously take your plastic off before you do anything. Kind of get an idea. I like to take them and mock them up here, then I kind of get an idea where I want it to be, and I want it to be where I can see it, but I also want it to be in a position where it's not going to be hinder my ability to see things that are coming at me at a high rate of speed. So you push it on the window, and then you flip the little switch up right there, then that makes it stick to the window. Then we take our cord, which we fish through the column. We plug it into the back of the insight just like so, and then we're going to hang our insight on. So there you go. Now we come over here, we take our OBD II plug out, we plug it in here just like so, turn the key on, turn the radio down, and voila, the insight, she is working. I'm going to take this little piece of plastic off that protects the screen, and away we go. So, you know, we've done quite a few inside installation videos, but we just kind of wanted you to see doing it in an OBS Ford. So now we've got our insight done. Now it's time to get our revolver installed. All right, now it's time to install a revolver chip on this truck. So I'm going to do everybody's favorite part of all of my videos. I'm going to tell you for the umpteenth millionth time, I suggest that you remove all 4 battery cables off of your batteries before doing this. And I talked about this until I'm blue in the face, especially with switchable chips. When you install a switchable chip on a PCM, you cross contacts on it, you've got the battery cables on, you've got a fried PCM every time, and you might as well just take $300 or $400 and throw it up in the air. If you want to do that and you're throwing $400 up in the air, you can send them to me, Wade McGinnis, and just make a check out to me. But anyway, so we're going to take the battery cables off before we do anything else. Also, in this video, we're going to squash a few more haters. We are going to do the PCM with we're going to do this install with the PCM in the truck. I did a switchable chip a couple years ago, and the haters were flowing like water about us taking the PCM out of the truck. I like to take the PCM out of the truck because I feel like you do a better job of cleaning the PCM. But I am going to work diligently hard on my back, upside down, twisted in a knot, to clean the PCM on this truck instead of taking the fender well out. But if you're watching this and you want to, take the fender well out of this truck, pull the PCM out from the inside and out to you. It's a little bit of work to get the fender well out, but I promise you, for guys like me, it's easier to be twisted up in a dog knot in here trying to clean contacts on the PCM. So here we go, taking the battery cables off. Obviously, on these old trucks, you've got to take this induction hood, so we're not going to make you sit and watch us take the battery cables off the battery, but just know we're taking the battery cables off the battery. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to access the PCM down here. Again, without taking the PCM out of the truck, but here we go. All right, so on your emergency brake, there's 13 metric nuts that actually hold this in place, and I've already got them pretty much undone here, so I'm just going to zip them off. And there's one right up here at the top. All right. Now, once you get those 3 bolts off, if you've got an automatic truck, you can just take this bracket, okay, and just move it out of the way. Standard shift trucks, you're going to have a clutch pedal there, so you're not going to get quite the room, but with the automatics, you get quite a bit of room here. What I'll probably wind up doing there is I'll probably tie that out of my way, but I don't know if you can see. I don't know how the camera shot is. Adam, I'll go back and review this, but guess what? Look right there. You got your access door to your PCM. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go get a piece of wire here. I'm going to tie this back, and then we'll come back and show you popping the cover off. All right, so access to the PCM, and again, Adam and I are trying to work on this where he's holding the camera and I'm upside down on my belly working on this, but I just take a little pick here and we'll try to not get my little head in your way here, and just take the cover off of the PCM. And it's hard to do when you're not able to look at it, so. Like that. All right, then that gives you access to the PCM board. The thing about the OBS trucks is the dielectric grease. I'm gonna call it dielectric grease. It may not exactly be that, but the dielectric grease that's on the contact points on the PCM, it's old and it's corroded. Look at it right there. You can see it like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through first off and I'm going to scrape that off just a little bit, okay? So we're going to cut away because I've got to get in there and get on top of it. So I'm going to scrape that dielectric off right then. After I do that, the Scotch-Brite pad that comes in my kit, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean these contacts really good with the Scotch-Brite pad. Remember, I try to take it to at least I get to see some copper on the contacts. I make sure it's really good and clean. When I do the back side of this, I take my Scotch-Brite pad, I fold it in half, then I wedge it between the case like that and the PCM board, and I just work like that. If you fold it in half, what that does is that just gives you better contact against the board. So this is going to be okay. I just, it's just uncomfortable. It's easier for me just to pull PCM, but if you're going to do it this way, it's a whole lot faster to do it this way, and it's okay too. You just got to take your time and make sure, again, that you get this board cleaned off. This is the second most important part of this. First most important part is unhook the battery. Second most important part is you've got to get the PCM contacts clean for the chip to work correctly. So we've got the contacts on the PCM board clean. Edge, they send you this little alcohol wipe down. Use it, it's nice. Clean until you can see the contacts. You can see the contacts in there. I've got all the dielectric grease that's off there. We're ready for a chip now. All right, now we're ready to assemble our Revolver chip with the wiring harnesses that we're going to need. All right, so you have your Revolver chip, and what I want to do first is I want to show you, I'm going to get these wires out of the way, I want to show you the Revolver chip and how to assemble it when you're using the normal 6-position analog switch that comes with the Revolver kit. So we're not going to be using this on this chip. Obviously, we're going to be using the EAS system so that we can control this via our Insight. But what you would do to assemble this is the black end of this would go into the Revolver chip, such as like this, then the white end goes back to the switch itself, and then you can route the switch wherever you want to take it. But we're not going to be doing that today, but I wanted to show you how that was supposed to go. Now, we're going to be using the kit for our EAS system, so you get 2 wires in this we showed you. This is the wire that hooks to the Revolver. This is, I call this the daisy chain on the on the Edge stuff. The connector is right there, and then this drop, this wire, is what is going to take you from the EAS to the OBD II cable, so it can be monitored and controlled via the Insight. So there is that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble our wiring harness here first, and then I'll show you how I like to route these on the OBS. So I'm going to go ahead. There's a connector that goes to the top. It's a little 2-pin connector on the Revolver here. I hope you can see it, Adam. Push it in till it clicks, and there you go. Now we're going to take our Revolver and we're going to put it on the PCM. All right. Yeah. So with the routing on this, and you're not going to be able to see it, but you can see these plastic push pins that go along with this guard. I like to run my wiring up that because it gives me something to zip tie back to. So I actually go through the bottom. It's easier, but you can go through the top of the wiring harness if you want to, just a little bit harder to get to. All right, so when you go to install this on the board, the wiring harness goes towards the fender, or goes out. So you just want to get that lined up on the PCM right here. Get it to where you know it's going to engage correctly, and just simply push it forward until it locks. All right. Now there is that. That has got our PCM on the attached on the, or our wiring harness attached onto the PCM, and we're good to go there. You want to make sure that you have this in a position and your wires in a position here where none of these wires can ever be kicked or actually take this to where the chip can walk on the PCM, because we talk about this. This is the third most important thing. You want to make sure that the chip is secure. If it is able to walk on the PCM board, okay, if you get a wire that gets loose, somebody kicks it and it crosses contacts in there, you're going to burn up your PCM. But if you do it like this, you're going to be okay. So that gets us where we need to be, and I've got my wires where I want to route them. I'm going to route those, and I'm going to secure those right up through here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put my parking brake cable back on, then I'll show you your next connection. All right, next connection that we've got is our drop wire that's going to go from the OBD II connector down to the daisy chain connector from the Revolver switch. So we've got the Revolver switch. I'm going to do this female to male here on this. Now there are two, you can see that there are two guide pins on these connectors from Edge. Okay, these connectors can only go in one way. Only one way. So don't try to force it. It's only going to go one way. Just keep working it until you find the two slides, and I got to find them myself here. And there it is. So once you have found your connection point, you want to go ahead and you need to turn the EAS lock until it accepts this. All right, and then once it accepts it, just tighten it down, and then that's going to make your electrical connection on that 100%. I hope I was able to show that correctly for you. Then you come back here to the OBD II drop, and you make this connection right here. This ties everything in to the Insight with this connection right here. Boom, click, there you go. And that's it. That is chip installed. All I've got to do is I've got to go back here and I've got to clean this up, and I've got to zip tie this, and then we're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. We're going to break for just a second. We're going to come back. We're going to clean up all this wiring harness, and then we're going to show you how to engage the functionality of the Revolver chip with the Insight monitor. All right, so we've got our battery cables back on. We're ready to go ahead and fire up the truck and also fire up the Insight. And what I want to do here is I want to show you how to get to the switchable power levels on the Insight. So again, we got our battery cables on right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the key on and let everything power up, and I will start the truck. And you start the truck, the Insight will come on. And while I'm cruising through this, I'm going to shut the truck down and turn it back on here. So what we've got to do is we've got to get the Insight to the screen to where we can change the power levels on the Revolver. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You may have already had yours set up on your screen, but right out of the box you don't. So let me go over here. So this will be the screen that you're on if you're right out of the box and you don't have any functionality for switching through power levels here. So what I'll do is I just hit the left arrow here, and this brings me to another screen, and you can see the up and down arrows right here give us the functionality of changing between the power levels. Now, test the Revolver to make sure the Revolver's working, that our install was a success. We always want to go to the high idle position. Just like most other switchable chips, we've got high idle in the second position here. So let's start the truck. Let's go second position. We see high idle is working. Got that. There's power level 1, power level 2. There we are. So 6 power levels on the Revolver. First position is stock, second position is high idle, and then the performance positions from there on up. So this has been an install of an Edge Insight and Revolver for a OBS Ford. So if you have a question about this Edge product or any of our other products, please give us a call, like and subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.